how do you get past the cheating? How do you get past the fact that you know that you passively played an active role in you being cheated on repeatedly? Or even bigger mind F than that is, how do you get past the fact that when you start doing the math and realizing that you were with her on the same exact day that she was with the other people? Now, I'm sure it's terrible for women, just the same as it is for men, but I can't speak for women because I'm not a woman. But I'll tell you, as a man, those are things that will absolutely gut a man, destroy a man. The thought of those realities makes us so sick to our stomach. And especially if you're over the age of 40 and you've worked your whole life only to have every single thing ripped away, it's a tough pill to swallow. And I wish that I had some super sexy, psychological, clinical answer to tell you what to do. But I'll just tell you what I personally did, what personally worked for me at the age of 41 when I was going through this. There's actually 4 things that I did, but in this video, I'm only going to talk about 2 of them specifically, because these first 2, they're so massive. And if you don't do these first 2 things, then literally nothing else that you try for the rest of your life is going to make you feel better about getting cheated on the way that you did and the brutal betrayal that you've been through. First thing is you got to remove anything that's going to allow you to self-destruct. Our nature, because of the type of people that we are, which is why we ended up in those relationships anyways, we have a tendency to self-abandon and self-destruct. And the best way to remove the opportunity for self-destruction is to get sober. I'm talking all your vices, man, at least for 100 days. It doesn't have to be forever, but the first thing that you have to do, you're like, bro, how do I get past her cheating on me? I'm like, bro, you got to get sober. And you're like, what does that have to do with this? And I'm like, it has every single thing to do with this, because how your thoughts, how you think, how you move are determined by your hormones and the way that your body functions. And the way that your body functions, the way that your hormones are produced, determines on what you put in your body, both what you put up there mentally and what you put in there physically. And so when we're destroying our body and our mind and our spirit with vices and drugs, again, I'm not warring against, oh, everybody's got to be sober. I'm sober. That's what works for me after years of being a drug addict and years of abuse. But I'm just telling you, if you want to know the first thing you got to do to get past the brutal amounts of cheating that's been going on, is you've got to completely change who you are. You've got to completely become a new person. And the first thing that you do is you remove all of the unhealthy coping mechanisms that you have that distract you from sitting in the pain and the hurt and actually being able to deal with it. And then the second thing that you have to do is you've got to get some kind of intense physical release. I'm not talking going sleeping around. I'm not talking about weightlifting. I'm talking about something intense. It could be boxing. It could be sprinting. For me, it was doing burpees. I called it going to my pain cave. And so I had to understand that I couldn't ignore the pain that I was feeling. So I had to learn how to transmute that into power. I had to learn how to transmute that energy into something that was beneficial for me. And so what I did every day is, instead of breaking down all day long like I wanted to, I would just save the breakdown for a specific time. I planned for it. And I allowed myself in that window to break down and process and feel those emotions. I called it going into the pain cave. So what I would do every single day is I would schedule 30 minutes to go to my pain cave. I would put on my headphones, a bunch of sad songs. I would tuck my hat down real low, and I would bawl while I banged out 10 sets of 10, 100 burpees, boom, 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 until I was so physically exhausted that I didn't have the emotional capacity to be upset about being cheated on. And I did this day after day after day after day for 223 days in a row. And on day 224, when I woke up and I missed for the first time in 200 whatever days, I knew something had changed. Now, I'm not telling you that you have to go for 200 some days. I'm just saying I learned to use these. I got sober and I started going into my pain cave every single day until it wasn't needed anymore. So I'm telling you, what's the fastest and best way to get past that if you're a man? I think it's by getting sober and getting in incredibly dangerously good shape.